Welcome to Balanced Life Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Angela Clark. Life is a crazy, wonderful adventure, and it can pull you in every direction, sometimes all at once. Can you really achieve success in one area of life without losing it all everywhere else? Can it really be done? Are you up for a good challenge? Well, let's get started. Hello, and welcome to episode 9. And I am going to get right into today's episode. We've been talking about the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. So the book in review, just real quick, is about changing our habits. It's about, what is an atomic habit, right? It's a regular practice or routine that is not only small and easy to do, but is also the source of incredible power, a component of the system of compound growth. That's number 1. Number 2 is bad habits repeat themselves again and again, not because we don't want to change, but because you have the wrong system for change. All right, and number 3, changes that seem small and unimportant at first will compound into remarkable results if you're willing to stick with them for years. Ooh, that's that big one for me. Like, for years? Really? Years? But I guess that's the whole point of calling it a habit, right? All right, so that's the book in 3 sentences. But let's dive in a little bit. So what have we been talking about? There's 5 big ideas in this book. 1 is habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. 2 is if you want better results, then forget about setting goals. Focus on your system instead. And that's what we talked about in the last podcast episode. 3 is the most effective way to change your habits is to focus not on what you want to achieve, but on who you wish to become. And I really like that. Now, 4 and 5, I'm not even going to tell you yet because we'll talk about that later in another episode. Today, we're going to focus on number 3, focusing not on what you want to achieve, but on who you wish to become. All right, so, really, habit changing is just a pain in the butt, right? Sometimes I just cling to those unhealthy habits, like stopping at my favorite fast food restaurant at the end of a long day, and I'm tired, and I'm still hungry. I know I don't want to cook when I get home, and I am just craving those salty French fries. That's a bad habit, but I like it. Sometimes, I don't want to change that. Do I need to? Yes. There's nothing wrong with a treat every once in a while, but is it a bad habit? How many times a week am I running through that drive-thru? A lot more since 2020, right? I think a lot more. So that is definitely a bad habit. Do I really need to change it? I don't know what your bad habits are, but those salty French fries are definitely a weakness for me. But anyway, I digress. Enough about the salty French fries. The book says that changing our habits is challenging for 2 reasons. 1, we try to change the wrong thing, and 2, we try to change our habits in the wrong way. There are 3 types of habit change: a change in your outcome, a change in your process, or a change in your identity. What type of change are you looking for? Outcomes are about what you get, processes are about what you do, and identity is about what you believe. With outcome-based habits, the focus is on what you want to achieve, and with identity-based habits, it's on who you wish to become. Now, all that sounds really great, but honestly, when I'm reading a book like this and I start to read all of this stuff, I need something to picture because already the words, my brain is starting to focus on other things. My brain is starting to think about what I need to do today and everything that's in my schedule, and it's already zoning out. So I need a picture. I need something to focus on. So what is an example here of what he's talking about? He uses an example in the book that I really liked. He said, take 2 people that are smokers. or trying to quit smoking, and someone offers them a cigarette. The first person says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit smoking." That person still sees themselves as a smoker who's trying to quit. The other person says, "No thanks, I don't smoke." That person sees themselves as a person who doesn't smoke. That's a huge thing. And when I read that, it automatically pulls my attention back to the book. Maybe that's childish of me. I'm not sure. It's just how my brain works. I need those mental pictures. But that's what he means when he says the most effective way to change your habits is to focus not on what you want to achieve, but on who you wish to become. There's nothing wrong with saying, "I'm not a smoker." If you're struggling to quit, right? Become that. See yourself as that. And I'll tell you, on a personal note, for me, it's exercise and working out. And I know a lot of us struggle with that. There's a ton of people out there that we know we need to exercise on a regular basis. For me, that means getting into the gym. You know, I also read an article recently that said that people who exercise and enjoy exercising versus people who exercise and do not enjoy it and make it known that they do not enjoy it. Those people that don't enjoy it actually had worse results from the same exercise as the people that enjoyed it. That's how powerful our mindset is. And that one hit me hard because I say all the time that I work out, but I don't enjoy it. And I'm actually self-defeating when I say that. And good grief, I want the best results I can get for the time that I spend in that gym. So personally, that's something for me to work on. I need to tell myself that I enjoy that. I enjoy going to that gym. Why? Because it makes me feel better. The better shape I'm in, the better I feel about myself. So why wouldn't I enjoy it? Me saying that I don't enjoy it all the time is just ridiculous. It's me focusing on the wrong parts. I read this quote recently by Colin Powell, and it totally fits with what we're talking about today. But he said, if you're going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude. I really liked that. Man, I like this stuff. It's just sometimes, okay, am I allowed to say it? Sometimes it's hard to put these things into action. But I'm working on it. I hope you're working on it. We can do this together, right? I mean, this podcast is not about me preaching to you. It's about me honestly sharing what I've discovered and how I'm applying things. Sometimes it's about, hey, this has worked really well for me. Let me share this with you. Sometimes it's like today, where I have to be honest and say, okay, this is something I'm struggling with. This is something that, okay, I haven't quite achieved that, but I know this is the direction that we need to be going. So I'm excited to share this with you. I think this journey is awesome. And life is constantly about changing and growing. I mean, I'm talking about my bad habit of complaining about going to the gym. But what's yours? Are you somebody that you say you're terrible with directions? Or you say you're not a morning person? Or I'm bad at remembering people's names? Or I'm always late? Or maybe you say, I can't do that. I'm not good at technology. Or I'm horrible at math. So we all have things. But the good news is it's really simple if we're willing to work on it. Let me say that again. The solution is simple. It's the actions, right? It's that creating that habit. That's where the work comes in. So whatever your habit is, I hope you take just these couple words today and apply them to your daily routine. If you're bad with directions, stop telling yourself you're bad with directions. Focus on the, I can understand this. I can learn this. I'm not dumb. I can figure this out. You know what? I've shared with you today some of the things that I struggle with in my habits. I would love to hear what some of yours are. So in the comments, please feel free to leave some notes and let us know. Sometimes just knowing that somebody else is going through the same thing makes it so much easier, doesn't it? It's good to know you're never alone. Now, we're coming to the end of the podcast for the day, but I just wanted to do something a little bit different. Maybe I'll start adding this as a feature because, like I said, I like to have a mental image of what we're talking about or what I'm reading, and I like examples. So I found an example today of somebody who definitely had some big habits to change. Bottom doesn't get much lower than a cell in a state penitentiary. But that's where this guy found himself in the early 90s, when after a hard night of partying, he was arrested at the Kalamazoo airport with over 650 grams of cocaine. He later admitted he had all the makings of a really good drug dealer. But clearly, it was time to find a new profession. He tried to survive his stint in the big house better than most of the cast members of Oz. Just Google it. He played to his strengths. When he got approached for dates, he'd make the local neo-Nazis laugh. He put on comedy shows for other inmates, and he even made the orneriest prison guards chuckle by using a picture of Nixon as a target in his cell toilet. Observing his fellow prisoners, he developed his signature persona. After he emerged from his 28-month term, a friend dared him to stand up on an open mic night at a Detroit area comedy club. Any ideas yet who it is? Tim Allen was an instant hit and went on to star in the hit Home Improvement and beguile kiddies as the voice of Buzz Lightyear. From a prisoner in a state penitentiary, he could adapt with the circumstances and develop his career. Sometimes you have to hit bottom to know where to go, Allen later told a reporter about his turning around story. Wow, what a great story. I love to hear stories of success like that, and you better believe that took a lot of habit changing. All right, so one more quote from the book before we finish for the day. The goal is not to read a book. The goal is to become a reader. The goal is not to run a marathon. The goal is to become a runner. The goal is not to learn an instrument. The goal is to become a musician. Oh, what are you becoming? I'm so excited to hear about it. Let me know in the comments. Right after you take your little finger down to the bottom of that screen and hit that follow button. And then share so we can all get in on this experience. All right, I gotta run. But remember, you can achieve that balanced life you're looking for. One step at a time.